It is time to begin. So what we are going to learn today, we're going to talk about standard form. And standard form is when you have it in the form, your x squared term, then your x, and then your constant. And in order for this to be standard form for a quadratic, a cannot be 0, because if a was 0, then it would no longer be a quadratic, it would be linear. And so this is what we call standard form. And we are going to talk about how do you find the vertex from standard form. And so that's one thing we'll be learning. And we're also going to be converting from standard form to vertex form. Now, why do you want to know vertex form? Vertex form, it'll tell you the minimum of the parabola, and it'll tell you the maximum of the parabola. And so vertex form is very useful. If you're like maximizing profits or trying to minimize your losses, you would run and look for what we call like the vertex. And so vertex form is very useful. There's two ways to find the vertex. Most kids prefer using this formula. And this formula says you take your b term, which of course is the number in front of x, and you divide it by -2 times a. And a, of course, is the number in front of x squared. So that's what goes for the x value. And then to find the y value, whatever number you get here, you plug into the function, this being the function, and you see what the y value is. So let's go ahead and start. Notice to find the vertex, I do not need to know the c value. So, and I guess I'll use capital letters. I'm used to using lowercase, but I would say a is 1. And then I would say b is -4. And then I would plug into the formula that says you take your b, put it on top of the numerator. Okay, I could do that. And notice it has a -2. And then I multiply that by a is 1. Sorry, lights went out on me. So -2 times 1 is -2. And -4 divided by -2 is 2. So I just found the vertex is 2, comma, something. We don't know what that something is yet. Okay. We also know the axis of symmetry is going to be at x equals 2. And that would be the line, the vertical line that cuts the parabola exactly in half. So how do I find the y value when I know the x value? Well, you just plug into your function. So I'm going to take my 2, plug it in here, x squared minus 4x plus 1, and that'll tell me the y value. So plug that value into the original equation to find y. Okay? So I write down my equation. Y is x squared minus 4x plus 1. But now I know that x is 2. And I plug 2 in everywhere for x. And then I do the math, or I just type this into my scientific calculator. 2 squared is 4. And then remember, you always multiply before you subtract. So you got 4 minus 8, that is -4, and -4 plus 1, -3. So I found my vertex is 2, -3. So that formula, negative b, I usually write it as negative b over 2a, but it's the same thing. B divided by negative 2a, that's how you find the vertex. Let's go check our work. So checking my work, what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug x squared minus 4x plus 1 into Desmos and just confirm that this is the vertex. One thing that's nice about standard form is this tells you the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is going to be 1, and then the vertex is going to be 2, -3. And because this number in front is positive, it's going to open up. So -3 is going to actually be what we call a minimum. So let's go see what this looks like. All right, let's go. My function was y equals x squared minus 4x plus 1. So I go over here, notice it opens up just like I told you it would. The vertex is 2, -3. That's exactly what I wrote down. And also notice I said the y-intercept is 1. Okay. Now, standard form tells you the y-intercept. Vertex form tells you the vertex. And then there's another form called factored form, which we have been factoring. We're not going to talk about that today. But if I wanted to find the factors, it'd be 0.268 and 3.732. Seeing as how those are kind of decimals, I doubt this factors. Okay. In fact, it does not factor. And I could tell it doesn't factor because what multiplies to 1 and adds to -4, it's not going to happen. Okay. So this is the first thing. And I usually, when I find the vertex, this is the formula I usually use. It's the same thing. It's just the negative moved up to the numerator. So this is what I'm comfortable with. It is the same thing. So you may see me write this down, but it is the same thing as this one. You could pull the negative up. All right, so let's do some more. Find the vertex. Find the axis of symmetry. Find the max or minimum value. And the range. All right, well, I would say A is -1. I would say B is 2. And then I would use the formula. Just to be consistent, I'll write it the way they did, B divided by -2A. All right, B is 2. A is -1. -2 times -1 is 1, so that's 2 divided by 1 is 2. So I have just found the axis of symmetry, and I guess I'll put it over here, axis of symmetry is x equals 2. Now, to find the vertex, I would just plug 2 back in. So I could probably do that part in my head. Let's not try doing it in our head. So I would plug 2 in, and I would say, okay, y is negative, and then I'm plugging 2 in. And notice the negative is not in the parenthesis because the negative was already there in front, plus 2 times 2 plus 3. Let's see, 2 squared is 4, make it negative, -4. -4 plus 4, 0, plus 3 is 3. So I just found the vertex is 2, 3. So I found the vertex, and I found the axis of symmetry. Now I need to ask myself, is this a maximum or a minimum? Well, because this is negative in front, it is going to look like this. It's going to open down. And so because it opens down, this is going to be your maximum. So I would say the maximum value that this will ever be is 3, because this is the y's, okay? So I'd say maximum of 3. And the range. Well, we just said the range, the maximum this will ever get for the y value is 3. So I would say range is y is less than or equal to 3. If they ask for domain, you would say all real numbers. Domain is always all real numbers. Let's see. I answered all of their questions. In case you didn't get it, there it is. Oh, yes, 100% we should check our work. So let me check. I think the vertex is 2, 3. It's never going to get higher than 3, which is why I also put the range as less than 3. So let me just double check that this vertex is 2, 3. My function was y is negative, so flip it over, plus 2x plus 3. Plus 3 means y-intercept of 3. There we go. 1, 4. Well, that's not good. Good thing we checked our work, so it is not 2, 3, it is 1, 4. So let's go look at our notes. Let's see. So I put A as -1. I put B as 2. I see it right there. This is why we check our answers. -2 times -1 is 1? No. -2 times -1 is 2. So this would be 2. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. Okay? So it's very simple. It's very easy to make a mistake on these. So then I would say my axis of symmetry is x equals 1. And then I would plug 1 in for my vertex. So this should now be a 1. And now I do the math. 1 squared is 1, -1. Plus 2, 2 times 1 is 2, so I have -1 plus 2 is 1. 1 plus 3 is 4. And I'm pretty sure that's what we just had. Yeah, 1, 4, see? So I need to put my vertex as 1, 4. Now that means my maximum is going to now be 4. And my range will be everything less than 4. Okay, sorry about that. I guess I did not realize that -2 times -1 is not 1. Number 2 is just like this. I may come back and do it for you. If you were in a traditional classroom setting, I would say, hey, try number 2. And I encourage you to try number 2 in case we don't get to it. You could check your answer by using Desmos. Okay, but what I need to get to is how do you go, and this is just one method, how do you go from standard form, this is standard form, to vertex form? One way is to find the vertex first, because in order to put this in vertex form, you want the vertex, okay? So let's see, I would say A is 1, B is -8, and again, C value does not mess with the vertex. And then I go and I find the formula is b divided by negative 2a. So b is negative 8. A is 1. And I promise I will multiply correctly this time. Negative 8. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Divide those and you get 4. Okay, so the x value is 4. I know this is going to be 4 something. Okay, so I need to plug 4 back into the function. So I'm going to plug 4 to find the y value. What is y? Y is 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 19. Let's see, 4 squared is 16. And then I'm going to take away 8 times 4, which is minus 32. And then I'm going to add 19. Let's see, 16 minus 32 plus 19 is 3. Before I go any further, I love to double check my work. I'm going to go punch this in and hope I get the vertex 4, 3. Plus 19, so plus 19 means it has a y-intercept of 19, which you could see it goes way up there to 19. So let's see what my vertex is. 4, 3, that's what I got. All right, let's keep going. So now you're going to plug A, H, and K into vertex form. And so this probably makes absolutely no sense to you. But A, we know what A is. A is 1. And then we're going to have X. Okay, because you have to have an X in there, you have to have a Y. And H in this case is 4. This is going to be your H, this is going to be your K. So I know, let's write down what we know. I know A is 1 because it's 1x squared. I know H is 4. And I know K is 3. So this is going to be X minus H, so minus 4 squared. And then plus your K, so it'll be plus 3. Okay. A lot of kids just memorize that it's the opposite of this, same as this. So if this is a 4, it's going to say X minus 4, and then you keep the value there. So let me just go double check that this is the same thing as this. So when I graph them, they should be on top of each other. Let's go double check this. I'm going to type in 1, X minus 4 squared plus 3. Y is 1, X minus 4 squared plus 3. Notice they are the same thing. It's one way to check your work. So what's nice about vertex form is I can look at this and say, hey, vertex is 4, 3. But it doesn't tell me the y-intercept. If I look at this called standard form, it tells me the y-intercept. And notice, because the A term is positive, we knew it was going to open up. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, you could type that in the chat box at any time. So I just showed you how to go from standard form to vertex form. One method is to find the vertex and plug in. It's actually the easiest. Technically, you could do something called completing the square, which most kids don't prefer this method, but I feel the need to show you. And I'll show you that real fast. So here's a different method. You first move the 19 over, so it'd be y minus 19. You then complete the square. So you're going to add something to both sides. And what do you add to both sides? You take this number, you divide it by 2, so that'd be negative 4. And then you square it, so that'd be 16. So you're going to add 16 to both sides. And again, I don't necessarily recommend this way. And then negative 19 plus 16 is minus 3. And then what multiplies to 16 but adds to negative 8 would be negative 4, negative 4. So you get x minus 4 twice. And then move the 3 back over. Notice I got the same thing. So the process of completing the square will tell you the vertex form too. I think it's probably easier to do b divided by negative 2a. So that's probably how I will keep showing. Next. All right. Let's write this in vertex form. So I'd say a is 1, b is 3. I would plug into my formula, which is b divided by negative 2a. So b is 3, a is 1. And then you get negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. So you could either leave that as negative 3/2, or, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Well, it's probably better to leave it as a fraction. But a fraction scare you, that's negative, what, 1.5, same thing. And then I would plug that in to this. And I'm just going to plug all that in the calculator. Parenthesis, negative 3 divided by 2, parenthesis squared, plus 3 times negative 3 divided by 2 is negative 2.25, which is negative 9/4. So now I know my vertex is negative 3/2, comma, negative 9/4. If fractions scare you, that's the same thing as negative 1.5, negative 2.25. You could round. Well, you could change those to decimals because they're not. Well, they're rational. We'll just say they're rational. And then so what we have here, we'll start to find the vertex form. We need the a value, the h value, the k value. So first, a is 1. H is your x. So I say x equals negative 1.5. K is negative 2.25. And I go and I look for my formula, or I should say equation. And the equation for the the vertex is y equals a x minus h squared plus k. I plug in, a is 1. So far all I know is it opens up. X. And this is going to be minus negative 1.5. So minus negative 1.5 is going to change this to plus 1.5. And then your k plus negative. You could put plus negative or you could just put minus, same thing. So I put minus 2.25. If you prefer fractions, you could also write y is 1 x plus, and we said 1.5 is the same thing as 3/2. And we said 2.25 is the same thing as negative 9/4. Let's go double check our work. I am going to type in this one in standard form. All I know from standard form is it opens up and it has y-intercept of 0 because there's nothing there. So it goes through the origin. That doesn't really tell me much. I also know from vertex form that the vertex is negative 3/2, negative 9/4. So let's go see. I also know it opens up because the a value is 1. So in standard form, we had x squared plus 3x. Now, because they both have an x and there's no constant, I can already tell you that 0 is a solution. It is, see, 0. Also, 0 is my y-intercept. And then let's plug in what we thought the vertex form was. Y equals 1, x, I'll write it in decimal form, plus 1.5 squared minus 2.25. And notice they are the same thing. But what's nice is I could look at this and say the vertex. Vertex is negative 1.5, negative 2.25, which is exactly what that is. All right, well, I hope that's enough. Your homework is mostly going from standard form to vertex form. So to find you first, the easiest way is to find the vertex and do what we just did. Please use Desmos to check your answers because it's easy to make a mistake. You saw me make a simple mistake in the video. It's very, very easy to make a mistake. Just try your best, and it looks like we're out of time, so have a good day. Bye-bye, everyone.